It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood, a beautiful day for a neighbor. Would you be mine? Won't you be mine? Would you be my neighbor? Hello, good morning, Happy New Year. I'm so honored to be here once again with you for the annual meeting of the Neighborhood Alliance. Before I get too happy and start thanking people, let me introduce to you the mayor of Carbondale, Illinois, Mike Henry. Mr. Mayor.
Good morning, everyone. I guess everyone can hear all right? Okay. First of all, I want to thank all of you for participating in this. This is one of the most important meetings of our neighborhoods of the year. And, you know, in many ways, occasionally our neighborhoods are under siege in one way or another. A couple of the things that council has taken under consideration lately are vacation rental units, which are units where the owner is not present. So that is something for you to be aware of. Watch the council agenda for it. We are considering overlay districts rather than the zoning districts. The overlay districts will let us be more refined in where these could or could not go. And so that's what we'll be taking a look at. Another thing that came up recently is solar installations in residential neighborhoods. Went through Planning Commission. Some folks in one of our neighborhoods wanted to install solar, which is, you know, a good thing to do, but they didn't want to put it on the roof of the house. They wanted to put it in the side yard. This concerned me because of just the appearance of these kinds of installations, 9 or 10 feet tall. And so again, it's something Planning Commission has looked at. We may look at it again, but it will be under consideration by council. Some of the things we are working on related to our neighborhoods is rental licensing, requiring landlords to have licenses. We're looking towards a lease addendum that would refer to criminal activity on the premises, what happens when that happens, and what kind of action could be taken. We're also looking at a vacant building registry, and I think this is something that's really important. It would help us with our policing a great deal, and make sure that we're checking on these vacant buildings. We're in discussions with SIU, in particular with SIU School of Social Work, on a crime prevention program. We're going to use some of our ARP funds for this. And in particular, we're looking at gun violence. Champaign-Urbana has a program that they are having some success with, and we will be in contact with them. We have a little bit already, but to sort of follow their lead, and SIU will contact them also. Most of you are probably aware that we do have a gun problem in Carbondale, firearms issues, but it is frequent, nearly every night, sometimes multiple incidents per night. It's not confined to a particular neighborhood. It can happen anywhere, and it does. But the perpetrators are the typical bad actors. So when they're caught, very often what they're charged with is possession of a firearm by a felon. So those are the folks that we're having the most trouble with. But again, it's something that we're working on. And so keep an eye on council agendas and make sure you weigh in on discussions. It's very, very important that folks like you especially are heard at council meetings. So that's all I have for you. Again, thank you so much for being here. I can be here about another 25 minutes or so, and then I have to go to Henry Printing. We're installing a huge software update for our big digital printer today, and it just couldn't be changed. We have folks coming down from St. Louis to do that, and then we'll be online with St. Louis. So thank you folks again for coming.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Up next, as the Neighborhood Alliance is under the direct umbrella of the Human Relations Commission. Representing the Human Relations Commission is its chair and my former colleague, Stephanie Brown.
Good morning, everyone. I would just like to say on behalf of the Human Relations Commission, thank you guys for joining us. Again, as Kareem mentioned, today is just one of the many programs that we are happy to sponsor through the Human Relations Commission. And a big thanks to the Carbondale Public Library, Sarah and Kareem, for getting such a huge group together and to be able to facilitate this meeting. For those of you who don't know what the purpose of the HRC is, it's to promote mutual understanding and foster equality and respect among all racial, religious, sexual orientation, national origin, or ancestry, age, and ethnic groups among persons in all economic and educational statuses, and generally throughout the entire community, so as to have prevent discriminatory practices in human relations. We meet every Monday. Right now, we are doing that virtually. Not every Monday, the first Monday of every month at 5 p.m. Right now, we are doing that virtually. And if you would like the link to attend our meetings, we encourage everyone to attend, especially such community invested individuals like yourself, to keep us abreast of things that we may not be aware of. Let us know about your program. So if you need help with sponsorship or any other help, we would love to support you. So on behalf of the Human Relations Commission, thank you for being here this morning.
Okay. Well, we've been welcomed once, we've been welcomed twice, and we've been welcomed thrice. I didn't introduce myself. For you guys that don't know, my name is Kareem Shariati, and I am your conductor for today's adventure. We're going to move it right along and get started because we've got a whole lineup here, and we want to give everybody a chance to have their own say. First up, we have with FoodWorks, Jennifer Paulson.
Hi, good morning. I want to thank everybody for letting me go first. One of our programs that we do is going on today, the Carbondale Community Farmers Market. So I'm going to head off after that and listen to what everyone's got going on. So I'm the executive director of FoodWorks. We are a nonprofit organization. We do a lot of work across Carbondale and across Southern Illinois, but I've got my kind of four main programs over to that side. So going on right now is the Winter Farmers Market. It'll be on until about 1 o'clock today, and then every Saturday through the end of March. So I encourage you to check it out. We specialize in sustainably grown food there. And there's a variety of things you can get. FoodWorks is all about trying to develop our local economy through sustainable agriculture, through fostering beginning businesses, small businesses, farm businesses, food businesses, trying to kind of both boost our economy as well as create opportunities for people to access really well-grown quality food that's going to support the health of our communities. So in addition to running the Winter Farmers Market, we also run SNAP and Link Match, which is a matching coupon program at farmers markets across Southern Illinois. Looks like this year we're going to be able to expand that significantly. So if you are a farmers market manager or a shopper at a market that doesn't have this program yet, please reach out. The other side of what we do is, other than market development, is farmer training, because today's farmer and the farmer of the future is going to look a lot different than the farmer we've had, the kind of image of our minds of a farmer that we've had for, 80 years or so. So we have diverse farming faces, and thankfully this year we have a really wonderful program in Farm Beginnings, really diverse, lots of support for beginning farmers. So if you're a farmer, check out the Farm Beginnings or the Farming Alliance, which is also up there. Thank you so much for your time, folks.
We can't hear you, Kareem. Sorry. Can you unmute?
No, you're still muted.
Okay. Can you, I should be unmuted now. Am I unmuted?
Yes.
You're good.
Okay. Coming up next, sorry for the technical. Coming up next, representing the Black Chamber of Commerce of Southern Illinois, Christy Mays.
Hi, everybody. My name is Chastity Mays, and I am the president. Yes.
Okay.
I am the president of the Black Chamber of Commerce of Southern Illinois. Our mission is to develop, educate, economically empower, sustain, and promote African American businesses. We have 3 events we would like to tell everyone about. We have a Black Expo that is coming up. It will take place on SIU's campus in the Student Center ballrooms on February 19th from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. We welcome everyone and encourage you to come and shop and support local vendors from all over Southern Illinois. We also have another event that will be next weekend, February 12th. It's a pop-up shop that will have local vendors. It will take place in Marion at the Boynton Street Community Center, and it starts at 1 p.m. We also have a business shower that we will be having in Cairo, Illinois. That will be at Hannibal Black Sports Bar and Grill. It's February the 26th at 4 p.m. in Cairo. We started this organization so we could support businesses and help them to grow and thrive. If you have any questions, I'm going to put my information in the chat right now. We have a Facebook page where you can keep up with all of our upcoming events. I will leave my email address and also my phone number. So that's all we wanted to share today. Thank you so much, everybody.
All right. Thank you, Chastity. Now, Chastity, you're wearing 2 hats today, and they should give you, you should see another 2 minutes come up for you now. And the other hat you're wearing today is the Gift of Love charity.
Yeah, so I'm back again. So I'm the assistant director of a Gift of Love charity. Our mission is to provide arts, education, and agricultural programming without financial or displacement boundaries placed around these services. We have 2 programs that we are currently running. The first one is called Mental Emancipation League. We call it MEL. And that program focuses on the inner workings and importance of verbal and nonverbal communication. And it will focus on clear, concise, and effective communication. We feel the key to stopping violence in our community is for everyone to learn how to communicate, because if we really think about it, that's where all the problems start. Our next class will be held at the Carbondale Civic Center on Thursday, February 10th at 7 p.m. Another program that we have that we're running right now is called the Art Racial Reconciliation Documentary. This documentary shows our neighbors, family, and friends sharing their experiences related to racism. This film is really important for Southern Illinois because I think sometimes we can think that issues related to racism do not happen in our own community, but this documentary shows us that it does. We have a Zoom showing of the documentary sponsored by the Carbondale branch of the American Association of University Women. It will be Tuesday, February 8th, beginning at 7 p.m. And you can actually go to the Carbondale Public Library website to register for this event. I will put all of the information for Gift of Love Charity in the chat right now. My email address, phone number. We also have a Facebook page where you can keep track of all of our events. And thank you very much. If anybody has any questions, contact me.
Okay, and thank you for being expeditious. The next lady we have coming up here, she's all over the place, so we're going to be seeing her for a few minutes now. Uh, uh, well, I'm going to let you introduce yourself, Nancy. Nancy Maxwell, first representing Carbondale United.
You're muted, Nancy.
Okay, let's try this again. Hi, I'm Nancy Maxwell, and I'm the director of Carbondale United. We're creating better communities all across Southern Illinois. Our mission of Carbondale United is to provide an avenue of healing, community safety throughout the following: awareness, education, and activism. Our goals are to eliminate gun violence and racism from our neighborhoods and provide events that are inclusive and diverse. We started in November 2019 when a large number of people gathered together to discuss gun murders of multiple youth in Carbondale. Out of grief and concern, Carbondale United was born. We collaborate with many other organizations such as the Women's Center, the Black Chamber of Commerce, Sunrise Movement, Beyond the Wall, Southern Illinois Unity Coalition, Zeta, Amici Carbondale, NAACP Carbondale Branch, Aces for Youth, First Christian Church, Women United Network, Carbondale Human Relations Commission, the Public Library in Carbondale, and the African American Museum. We're always looking for organizations to join us in our fight against gun violence. And you can reach out to us at carbondaleunited15@gmail.com, or my other contact information will be in the chat.
Up next, we have Nancy again for the Citizens Advisory Board.
So I'm a member of the Jackson County State's Attorney Citizen Advisory Board. The board is comprised of a diverse and vital group of community leaders from across Jackson County, tasked with providing a point of engagement with our community. The intent of the Citizens Advisory Board is to allow a way for constituents to voice their concerns and potential solutions for issues following individuals living in our county. The board is a dynamic and evolving group of people. As the composition of its members expands, there is an infusion of diverse opinions, ideologies, and perspectives. This in turn has allowed the office to be responsive to the needs of our ever-changing community. While the Citizen Advisory Board is tasked with providing a point of engagement with our community, people are always invited to reach out to the Jackson County State's Attorney's Office via the main phone number at 618-687-7200 or through email at JC Citizens Advisory Board, Jackson County, Illinois. And if you have any questions about that, you can reach the state's attorney, Joe Cervantes.
Okay, that's good. Now you got another 2 minutes there. Now representing the Southern Illinois Unity Coalition, again, Nancy Maxwell.
Okay, so the Southern Illinois Unity Coalition actually started out with Carbondale United. We did marches, and then we formed a whole group that's specific for marches. So we are a collective of the community activists and allies working together to unify Southern Illinois community through a combination of grassroots efforts and innovative approaches. We protest, we boycott, we march, we get the job done. The coalition now consists of Matt Wilson, Julian Wells, Emerald McGowan, Kiana Ng, Erica Willis, and Joseph Val Behan. We formed this group organization around the time that the social movement was spurred by George Floyd's death. We were supposed to march this week, but unfortunately the weather stopped us, but we did it virtually, and we'll be marching in March for Breonna Taylor. So again, if you have any questions or any information, we're looking to have more members join us. Please reach out and contact me.
Okay, and thank you for your efforts. Moving right along, representing the Boys and Girls Club of Carbondale, Monique House.
Good morning, everyone. I am actually stepping in for Tina Carpenter, who is enjoying her vacation today. Again, my name is Monique House. I am the Director of Finance for the Boys and Girls Clubs of Southern Illinois. I've been with the organization for about 6 years, and I can honestly say that I love my job and I love what we represent as an organization. We do our best to come into work every day inspired and ready to impact the lives of the youth that we serve by simply being honest, supportive, and holding them accountable for their actions. Our mission has been and always will be bigger than just one individual. And because of that mission, we are passionate and excited and committed to doing whatever we can and whatever is necessary so that our youth and their family can be successful, whether that's through partnerships, donor stewardships, fundraising, adapting our programming to the ever-changing world that we live in, or by simply telling our story. We also do our best to make sure that our doors are always open when schools are closed, so that every youth that walks through our doors are comfortable and excited to interact with us on a daily basis. But we also have a commitment that goes beyond our youth and the family. We also have a commitment to our communities. And the values that we embody as an organization demands that we represent the city of Carbondale, as well as the city of Marion now with excellence. So I'm excited for our future. I'm excited to continue to work with our communities, and I'm excited for the future of our youth. So I hope that we all can continue to do great things so that the cities we live in continue to be exciting for the people that live here. And when they talk about the city of Carbondale and the city of Marion, they have nothing but positive things to say. Thank you all for your time.
And thank you for your time and your efforts. All this train is going on down the track. We have here representing the Carbondale Chamber of Commerce, William Lowe.
Sorry, William, we can't hear you.
Sorry. So I'll start over. Well, that's not as good as my first attempt. But my name is William Lowe. I'm representing the Carbondale Chamber of Commerce. We're based in Carbondale. Our mission is to support local businesses in our community through networking, marketing, support, and advocacy. I'm relatively new in my position. I've been, in the chamber for about 4 or 5 months now. We have a couple of events coming up. We've got our annual banquet, which is our biggest fundraiser of the year. That has been moved back to April 29th. We are hosting a job fair at the Carbonyl High School. We're hoping to connect high school students with, jobs through SIH, through local banks, just different other job opportunities that most kids kind of don't gravitate towards. A couple of things we're working on. We're working on putting murals downtown. I think several other towns have it, and there's no reason Carbondale shouldn't. If you're a business and then you're interested in joining the chamber, reach out to me. We're open to new ideas, new businesses, and there's a lot of organizations here in this group. We have, we're a good sounding board. So if you have special events that you're hosting, let us know and we can help spread the word. And then we've also welcome a couple of new businesses that we have in Carbondale. We have Goldie Robinson and Shelter Insurance. We're hosting ribbon cutting here for next Friday. We've got Smoothie King, which is another business for the mall. That will be in a couple of weeks. And yesterday we welcomed Clear & Associates, an architecture firm It took over the old Cherry Realty office across from Legacy Gym. And
Okay. Yeah, that sounds like a period, right?
yeah.
Well, at least you didn't talk about yourself. I'll speak for you and yourself. Stop by Thai Taste when you get a chance.
Oh, wrong business. but it's okay. It's okay.
New Kahala.
Yeah.
Southern Illinois Collaborative Kitchen. Lee Marcel.
Okay. So again, my name is William. I'm the president of the Southern Illinois Collaborative Kitchen. We are a pending not-for-profit organization. I think we're about 2 years old. It was kind of an idea that New Kahala and the Cristados kind of came together. We wanted a way to support local restaurants and address food insecurity in our region. So we came up with the idea of purchasing cooked, ready-to-eat meals from local restaurants, and then selling them to the community at a pay-as-you-can scale. We also feed the Boys and Girls Club. We also we provide food to the Addict Center, Women for Change, Carbonyl Warming Center. So we do this online. People, on a Wednesday morning, our menus go live. They'll order and then they'll pick up their food on Saturday. I think last year we served over 20,000 meals. Food insecurity is a big issue in our community, and we're doing our best to kind of address this. We're always looking for sponsors and donations. You can go to our Facebook page, Southern Illinois Collaborative Kitchen, to sponsor, to donate, anything like that. We appreciate it. The community appreciates it. This is something that I'm very passionate about. And then hopefully we can continue this program as long as we can.
Okay, I think we're back on track. We didn't get derailed there because that definitely didn't look like Lee to me. Moving right along here, Carmendale Community Arts, Hilary Chandler.
Hi, good morning, everybody. My name is Hilary Chandler, and I'm the Outreach Coordinator and Programming Manager for Carbondale Community Arts. We have some news to share with you all. So I'd like to tell you about who we are and then where we're moving forward to. For 35 years, Carbondale Community Arts, Art Space 304 has nurtured generations of artists and creators. And located in the center of downtown Carbondale at 304 West Walnut, our aim is to platform creative talent throughout the region. We exist as a cultural space for all of Southern Illinois, and we reflect the vibrancy of our many communities. I would like to add, I just love the new organizations that are joining the Neighborhood Alliance, and we look forward to connecting with you and working with you in the future. We strive to educate, cultivate, and promote local artists and performers and showcase the diversity of creative power in Carbondale and in the Southern Illinois region. So this past 2 years has been a little bit challenging because, of course, we haven't been able to gather as much as we have in the past. But we created new landscaping along the 304 Walnut Street entrance. So drive by there and see the beautiful new landscaping that's happening. And that will continue to evolve over the next year or so. We conducted multiple artist performance and multimedia shows on the basis that we could during the pandemic in the past 2 years. We have distributed over $50,000 in grants to artists and organizations through the Southern Arts Fund, and coordinated virtually this region's National Poetry Out Loud high school recitation contest for 2021. And we're continuing the contest right now in 2022. And that's a virtual contest, which was a whole new interesting challenge for us. We have also implemented the Southern Illinois Mural Project. William, you'll be glad to hear that. We did complete 5 murals in this past year in Murfreesboro, Carbondale, Carterville, and Marion. And there will be future murals to be done happening also. We purchased property this year at 607 South Illinois Avenue, which is the previous Melange Coffee House space. We are going to develop this as a retail and maker space for the arts. And then inside all of this, we have rebranded Carbondale Community Arts with a new logo and website as Art Space 304. This establishes the organization as a comprehensive contemporary center and hub for the arts in the entire Southern Illinois region. And for more information and to see the new look, you can go to artspace304.org. If you go to the old website, you will get redirected to the new webpage. It has a lot of information and contact information so that you can reach us. And if you have any questions, you can put them in the chat and also contact us through the webpage. Thank you very much. We're very excited to be here.
Wow, you guys are lucky we're in a virtual situation because I normally have my hook in my broom and I sure miss it. But I come in with my broom and sweep you right out of here. Thank you so much for your time.
Welcome.
Look here, $50,000 is a lot of money.
Yes, it is in grants. Yes, we are fortunate. Okay. No more.
Moving right along. Carbondale Crisis Center, Jennifer Lampkins.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for being here today. My name is Jennifer Lampkins, and I'm with the Carbondale Crisis Center. I'm a co-founder along with Brandy Brown and Justin Schneider, who I think Brandy's on the chat, helping me.
Okay, it looks like we're having a
Sorry,
small
technical problem. Hold on just 1 second. We'll get her back.
All right, I think I'm back on.
Well, we see the Carbondale Crisis Center, but I'm looking at Jane Addams. I've got my LPs here just for such occasion. You know, when you're on radio, you don't like dead air.
There's so many people back here. It's hard to find the right one sometimes. Just one moment.
Okay. Are we still coming back with Jennifer?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, I can see you.
All right, can you hear me okay?
I do.
Wonderful. Yeah, I'm Jennifer with the Carbondale Crisis Center. I'm a co-founder along with Brandy Brown, who's in the chat, and Justin Schneider, who wasn't able to make it here today. But we plan to resolve, prevent, and reduce crisis in Carbondale by being active in the community. We are on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn. You can find us on our website, www.carbondalecrisiscenter.org. We plan to be present in the community and to do a three-way system with a hotline, a center, and a community response system. So we will be available to the community in any way that is needed. You can, like I said, contact us on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, our website. We have a hotline, 602-0797. At the moment, you only get me, excuse me, because we're still looking for people to help us out in this endeavor. So we need board members really bad. Like I said, there's only 3 of us right now, but we are really trying to get out there and really make a difference in the community. So if anybody is willing to help us out in this endeavor, like I said, there are multiple ways of getting in contact with us. And like I said, what we're trying to do is really help the community and any crises available or any crises that comes across the community. We want to be the ones that really help and really get in there and do what needs to be done. So like I said, this is a fairly new endeavor. We've only been going for about a few months now. So we really need the help of the community, and we really need board members and just support in general. So please get in contact with us through our various Facebook and social media accounts. And thank you for everybody letting us be on here today. And thank you for letting us just get the chance to actually talk to the community. All right, thanks.
Thanks, Jennifer. You know, I've been trained in restorative practices, and so you can look to be hearing from me real soon, okay?
Wonderful, thank you.
All right, I have here the Carmendale Park District, am I correct? Yes, Trey Anderson.
Good morning, all. Green, how much time do I have? I don't want to get the hook.
You got the 2 minutes there in front of you.
Okay. Just wanted to announce a few things from the Carbondale Park District. The Friends of Carbondale Dog Parks is in its final stages for the dog park that is adjacent to the Life Community Center on the west side of town. We've had a soft opening and traffic has been barely brisk for the weather that we've had lately. We look forward to a more official grand opening in the spring, and that will be to be announced. We just wrapped up our Hometown Holidays light display at Hickory Lodge, and that went over well for its first year. We look forward to doing that again in the second year. One of the big news on our part is the Marbury Arboretum project that we're working on. CPKD received an OSLAD grant from IDNR for this project, and we started on it about 4 months ago. This project will consist of 3 interpretive trail loops. Currently, we are working on invasive species removal at the park. It was much heavier than we thought. So over the last month, we've been doing that. I think we have about 75% of that taken care of. Hopefully, when we get to spring and things dry out towards the summer, we'll be able to start working on the trails. We have a spring of 23 opening date set for that project. And currently, it doesn't involve closing the park. So there's still a lot of traffic that we see every day when we're working over there. Next week coming up, we'll be collaborating with the River to River Running Club on their Fly with the Eagles half marathon. That's going to run through Hickory Ridge Golf Course and finish up at the Southern Illinois Airport. That should happen around 10 o'clock in the morning. And lastly, our Junior Dogs basketball program. It started on January 15th, and although we had to cancel for weather last weekend, we have 48 kids. It's an instructive league, and it will be finishing up on March 19th. As always, as everybody's announced, you can look at our Facebook page to find out more about the Park District and the offerings over the next months. Thank you very much all for having me.
Okay, thank you, Trey. And you're expeditious too. All right, here, I have here a note that Megan Cole wasn't able to be with us today, but she sent her information, and sharing that information for Carbondale Main Street is Sarah Heyer.
Before Sarah starts, I'd like to say goodbye to everybody. I'm going to have to leave, as I said. So thanks again for being out here for this meeting today, everybody.
Thanks, Mike.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, Carbondale Main Street is, as always, committed to the improvement and promotion of downtown Carbondale. Coming up in spring, they have the Carbondale Classic returning March 26th. And Carbondale Brewfest. After 2 years without it, we got it coming up May 6th. They continue to work on the design of downtown with their facade grants and landscaping initiatives, as well as their promotions and economic development initiatives. You can get more information from Megan. She's at her son's swim meet today. She is always volunteering for everything. If you want something to get done, contact Megan. She's a go-to person. So March 26th, Carbondale Classic, Carbondale Brewfest, May 6th. Thanks.
Okay, thanks, Sarah. All right. The first school that I attended when we moved to Carbondale was the Old Brush School. For those of you that don't know, the the Carbondale Public Library sits almost exactly on the foundation of the Old Brush School. I see Diana, the head librarian there, director of the Carbondale Public Library with us. Come on, Diana. And she's
Diana,
our
you're
IT
muted.
person.
I was muted. There's an award-winning library leader named David Lankus, who said that bad libraries just build collections, good libraries build services, and great libraries build communities. So we strive to be great. We engage with local organizations to work toward compassionate solutions to some of our community's toughest problems, such as homelessness and gun violence. We've partnered with the SIU School for Social Work since 2015 to meet people's social service needs. Libraries have always answered reference questions. Our social work interns answer complex social service related questions. And in doing so, they help people to find affordable housing, avoid conviction, apply for jobs, and access area services. Our interns usually serve about 60 people each school year, but this year, our intern is averaging about 30 people every single month. So the need is greater than ever, and most of the clients he sees are facing homelessness and housing insecurity. He's been able to put some people into housing and get them out of that situation. We also host nearly 500 educational programs every year. In the past 2 years, we've hosted most of our programs online and partnered with local organizations to bring their programs online as well, including the Neighborhood Alliance meeting, so that our community can keep working together no matter what. You can view many of our programs on our YouTube channel. And of course, we do build collections as well. Card holders can check out all the books they want, and our card catalog represents the largest shared library collection in North America. So you can check out just about anything from us. We do have 2 ebook collections. One of them is called Hoopla, and it contains ebooks, audiobooks, TV shows, and movies. And there's never any waiting list for anything that you want to check out from there. You can check out exactly what you want and when you want it. Everyone in this community benefits from the work that the library does, whether they have a library card or not, but we do hope you'll come in and get one. So thank you.
Look at that timing. Thank you, Diana. All right, here we go. Nathan, thanks for stepping in, and my condolences on the loss of the founder of the Center for Empowerment and Justice, Mr. Snyder. Share with us what you have.
Absolutely. Thank you, Kareem. I appreciate it. My name is Nathan Colombo. I'm the acting president for the Center for Empowerment and Justice at 213 North Washington Street here in Carbondale. Currently, we're serving on average about 100 folks, 100 clients in any given month. Just kind of working off the script that I've set up here. We offer street level services to folks who need help with anything from housing to general social services, all the way to engagement with the legal system, which right now really looks like providing a space for Zoom court for folks that may otherwise not have a way to engage with the legal system as needed. Our operation runs on about $1,200 a month currently with an all-volunteer staff. Really, our 2 directors, Cass and Cy, have been the ones that have completely reformed our operations since, as Kareem said, the passing of our founder, Jim Chapman, in August of 2021. Currently, to sustain our organization, we are pursuing the Illinois R3 grant, the Restore, Reinvest, and Renew grant, which is focused on reducing gun violence, improving reentry for folks coming out of the criminal justice system, as well as improving just social outcomes across the board, which really is just a perfect fit for the street level services that we provide through our organization. If you'd like to join or support our work, cej213.org is our website, or you can just contact us through Facebook. Myself or any of our other folks on the back end of the Facebook are there to engage with your outreach. Just a a couple of things that have been real keynotes of success in the past couple months. When Jackson County Housing Authority opened up, oh, looks like I'm running just out of time. 36 people plus in housing we helped assist here in the month of December. Thanks so much.
Okay. Well, you know how to handle that microphone, and thank you for what you do. Now, I have an acronym here, and Jessica, I'm sure you're going to explain what this acronym means. It's Chessie,
Yes.
Jessica Bradshaw.
Chessie, yes, that's right. I'm a community health worker with Chessie, which stands for Community Health and Emergency Services, Inc. Chessie has been around Southern Illinois for years. We have 7 medical clinics throughout Southern Illinois, including one at Cedar Court in Carbondale, and 3 low-income dental clinics in Tams, Harrisburg, and Cairo. Currently, we're one of 12 agencies in Southern Illinois contracted with the Illinois Public Health Association to provide pandemic health navigation system services. Our primary work is providing assistance to those who have been affected by COVID-19 and most often need food, medicine, and household items because they have to quarantine. We can also help connect people to programs such as low-income utility assistance, rental relief programs, food stamps, and medical insurance. Statewide, there are over 600 community health workers representing over 80 agencies in this pandemic health navigation program. Since March 2021, the program has completed 114,000 resource assistant requests, with about 20% of those requests coming from Southern Illinois. In the past, resource requests were primarily referred to us through the local health departments, but with the rise of Omicron, as you all may know, the state has centralized efforts to take the burden off of our stressed health departments. And so while the number of COVID-19 cases has risen, many people aren't aware of the resources that Chessie and other agencies can provide. But we're sitting here watching the numbers increase, but we're not getting the requests, and we're not able to help people if they don't request the help. So if you or someone you know has been affected by COVID, you can contact us directly at chessie.org or go to Help Guide Thrive to connect with a local community health worker. And that's statewide, except for Chicago, they do their own thing, you know. And Chessie also has primary care, pediatric, dental, and behavioral services that we can connect you with too.
Okay. And with that, I just want to remind everybody to share with us your email information. And so for the next meetings and whatnot, and anybody that wants to know, they'll have your contact email information with this broadcast. Okie dokie. Now, here's a new one for me, the climate economy. Amy Hunter?
Yes, I'm Amy McMorrow Hunter. Thanks for organizing all this. It's really super great. I am the president and CEO of the Climate Economy Education, Inc., which is a 501c3 nonprofit for education and experimentation on lifestyles and business models that are good for the climate, economy, and humanity. And I'm really counting on that timer. So I'm hoping it's going to start. But
Sorry,
anyway,
trying to get it back going.
so I'll just keep talking. So we started out in 2019 with a kickoff event to talk about innovation, energy, funding sources to get stuff going around here. Since then, we've done a lot of webinar series, especially with COVID. It had to go online. So we did like Keeping Money Local. We did All Together Now SI last spring. And we just did the Resilience Fair in August here in Carbondale. And since then, we've had weekly Monday meetings going on with that to continue those efforts to grow new community projects and organizations and just community cohesion as well. So let's see, our central activity is our youth education program. We're just getting this going on a bigger scale. So it's called Green Venturing. And we're going to be working with middle schools, the Carbondale High School. We're also working with the Carbondale Public Library, the Science Center, and hopefully other organizations. We're going to be working with the Denman Center, hopefully, and Irma Hayes. It's an after-school program and also like weekend activities as well. And we're going to be talking about STEM activities and things for clean energy and climate action. And we also have an online platform for climate action for getting ideas and getting involved. It's cleannetwork.earth. That's ELEANETWORK.earth. It's a different kind of social network. We have 3 events coming up, and I'm going to paste it in the chat. It's the Monday weekly meetings. We have this Monday at noon. We have on Tuesday, there's an event put on about the right to self-generate, which is by I think it's the Downstate Caucus, which is doing that one with the new energy law that we have in Illinois. And then on Thursday, we have a sustainable business webinar series, the second episode of that. And so we hope everyone can join in those events with us. Thank you so much.
Okay, and thank you. Now you mentioned the Denman Center, and the Denman Center is up next. I'm sure they have some exciting things to share with us. Aaron Lee, and you need to unmute yourself.
Grand Rising, how's everybody doing? My name's Aaron Lee. I'm the general manager for the Denman Center and founder of the Titans Foundation and Skills Academy. The Denman Center has been in existence for about 5 years now. It's a multi-use plex designed to give kids an opportunity to explore whatever would come to their mind, whether it's athletics, web design, agriculture, or whatever that may be. One of our current programs is our Midnight Run. It's a initiative designed to eradicate and help with gun violence in our community. Right now, we have about 162 kids enrolled. Although it's a Denman Center initiative, it could not be successful or take on the life it's taking without really good volunteers like Carbondale United, Gift of Love, and I want to give a special shout out to Joe and the NAACP. They've all been very instrumental in helping that program to grow and develop some notoriety. And the great thing about that initiative is through the program and a partnership with Mentorcom, we've been able to provide 5 of those youth that attend our Midnight Run with part-time jobs at the Denman Center. And so they'll be involved in our agriculture program, our Boys and Girls Empowerment Group, and we're also working with SIU in hopes of getting some social work interns to help us with our Boys Empowerment Group and our Girls Empowerment Group. So we're very excited about that. And we're looking forward to our community garden. We want to create 3 community gardens on the northeast side of Carbondale, because as many of us know, that's a food desert. So the goal is to create 3 community gardens, provide some cooking classes on how to prepare and create healthy meals with healthy living. And we're hoping with our partnership with Addicts, that will be a really good initiative for young people to know how to grow and create their own food source with the concept of farm to table, then to market. We're going to have a progressive potluck with the vegetables and fruits that will grow.
Aaron, I'm going to slow you down a little bit there because we want to keep it going. But if you will, let me finish off your program by mentioning that the Denman Center is located in the old Blyer gymnasium at the Carbondale Community High School. I got a question for you. It's also the home to the semi-pro basketball team, the Pharaohs. My question is, what does a ticket cost to a Pharaohs game?
I want to say the ticket price for the Southern Illinois Pharaohs home games, I want to say $7 for adults, $3 for kids. And for those that are wanting to sit courtside and have meals prepared for them, I want to say that may be $15 or $20. We're trying to work some things out with some local vendors to provide
I'm
those
showing
meals.
too much preference now. So I got that in for you.
Okay, I got you.
Thank you so much.
Thank
you.
Now,
all right. Now we have somebody from the Irma Hay Center. It's not Jane Addams. Is there
I'm not
anyone
sure
from
if
the Irma Hay
anyone's
Center?
here. Yeah, let's check.
I don't think there's anyone here from Irma Hayes or from Family Advocacy Services.
Well, I'm a board member of the Irma Hayes board.
Okay,
My name is
please.
Ginger Rice Sanders, and I am a board member, and the Irma Hay Center continues to be under construction for the HVAC system. And we are nearing end of the rehabilitation for that. And we are hoping that we will be open hopefully by next month. And as you know, the director for the Irma Hay Center is Robert Bob Wills. And the center will be hosting programs for young boys and girls, also some a medical facility, also a office space for the police department. That's still a plan that we have in place. And we will be doing outreach services to all of our youth. And so we are on pace and on course, and we are excited about the Irma Hay Center, the hub for Northeast Carbondale and a historical center for Carbondale, Illinois. So we do thank you for this time and the space.
And thank you. Okay, now I'm looking at Jane Addams now. Are we there yet?
Yes, we're at the dog park.
They're the friends of the dog park. Hello, friend.
Hello, and I'm really pleased to be here. In 2016, a small group gathered in my living room to begin planning a dog park. 6 years later, Carbondale has its first public dog park, thanks to the dedicated work of the Friends of Carbondale Dog Park's very active board of directors, a number of community-minded service providers who donated many hours of pro bono labor and equipment, an enormously supportive community who voted us number 3 of the top 5 winners of a $25,000 Pet Safe Bark for Your Park grant, and who gave money independent of that, and a park district that's helped us over the final hurdles to get the gates open. We still have a good bit to do, including putting sod on the front of the park where construction tore up the turf, building play structures, planting trees and other plants to screen the dogs from the children at Parish School, and the public playground under construction at the Life Center, and soccer in the adjoining field. An entrance, donor and other signage, and a path to the planned activity area at the still locked East Gate. We have a lot to do. But the main gate's open with small and large dog fields and a shelter with benches. It's a joy to watch dogs run and play and to see our neighbors getting to know each other. We'll have our grand opening later this spring. We need volunteers to help police the grounds and help with other activities. I'll put our contact in the chat. And we'll have a mailing list as well, so just look at the chat. Also, 2 members of our board ran and were elected to the Park District Board of Commissioners. The Park District now has a board that's deeply committed to public participation and input, and is about to appoint a new director with other staff who are leaning forward to include all the people of Carbondale. So if you want to get involved, run for office. The city council needs you. Thank you very much and enjoy the dog park.
Okay, and thank you. I know it's been a long time coming and it's been a passion of yours. All right, Green Earth Incorporated, Dorsey Prosser.
I hope you've had a chance to visit one of our Green Earth nature preserves. There is one in each and every Carbondale neighborhood. In the Northeast, Carbondale is the Piles Fork Preserve, and it's adjacent to Adams Park. So there you can, in close proximity, hike, picnic, play on the playground. There's something for everybody. In Southeast Carbondale is the Brush Hill Preserve. It's hilly, and if you'd like a good fitness walk or run, that's the place to go. In the Southwest is Chautauqua Bottoms Preserve. It's known for its wildflower glade. It's a showy display of beautiful spring wildflowers. And there we also have ADA accessible trails. They're not paved, but they're 5 feet wide and flat and graveled. In the the Northwest is Oakland Preserve, home of the Story Walk. That's a project with Carbondale Library. The Story Walk is a trail that has pages of a storybook all along the trail. But I hope many of you know Oakland Preserve is home of the Green Earth Pumpkin Glow. This year, over 1,500 people attended to see the 500 light-ins on the trail. And that Pumpkin Glow is a great collaborative effort. We are a nonprofit, but we appreciated the support of the Carbondale City, the Park District, E.T. Simons, many local volunteers from the community and SIU. And we thank the local business and individuals who donated so we can buy the pumpkins and supplies. So I hope you will come out to your or any of our neighborhood preserves to take, or we've got benches, just sit and enjoy nature, watch the birds. So hope you'll come out and be in a Green Earth Preserve soon. Thanks.
Well, thank you. You know, I've walked all of those you've mentioned with the exception of the library walk. I've got to try that. Oh, here comes an old fan favorite and friend of mine. She needs no introduction, but I'll call her name. Representing I Can Read, Carmendale's finest, Margaret Nesbitt.
Hello to my friends. Hello, hello, hello. This is an opportunity that I'm proud to be a part of. The I Can Read program is celebrating its 23rd birthday this year. But because of you, the supporters of the program and the need for the program, it has been a success, even though COVID-19 tried to cut in on us. So I just want to say on behalf of the I Can Read program, we just are grateful for you to be a part of that program. Everyone before me has spoken, have been a part of the I Can Read program. The I Can Read program was established because we found out why there's a problem with children some years ago. What's the problem? They want to be with everybody. They want to be with the crowd. But when you can't read, you can't even turn in your homework. You can't even read what's on the board. You can't carry home anything to do. So we started there with I Can Read. I Can Read is a volunteer program. It survived on volunteers and annual banquet, which we didn't have in 2 years now because of COVID-19. But I just want to say that we knew if a child can read, they would feel important and it would not be cutting up in class. So when they can stand up and read a book or just read a sentence, it makes them feel a part of. So that's what we have been doing all these years, making everyone to be a part of what's going on. We have visited the courthouse, we visit the city hall, we go to school board meetings to find out what we can do as a board of I Can Read. I Can Read do not go out and select the child. We have always said the door is open, but it's limited to a certain number to each grade. So we know that if you can't read, that is was the academic failure in everything else that you do. So just want to invite you all and thank you all for being so grateful, knowing the need is still great. And as of now, we will close for the weekend, but hopefully Monday, our kids will be back in. It's a volunteer program. We need volunteers if they come. It's hard now to find volunteers on account of COVID-19, but we are there and we're helping the children. We're connected with the District 95. Before Mr. Booth left, he really got us in with the district.
Now, don't make me tap dance on top of your sister. Okay, you know the score.
The need is still great. The need is still
Yes,
great.
ma'am.
Thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. I love you. Okay, keep Carbondale beautiful and Krippenstoffel.
Hi, everybody. How are you doing? Thank you so much for putting this on. It was really fun last year, so I'm glad that we're all kind of catching up on everybody's projects. I am Keep Carbondale Beautiful. My name's Ann Krippenstaple. I've been at this post for about 2 years now. Some events that we have coming up. Well, if you're not familiar with us, what we work on is litter pickups, community like environmental education, recycling, waste reduction. Those are and beautification, which are our main kind of goals. Some events that we have coming up are we have a litter pickup next Saturday, 9 to noon. Love Our Earth. It's kind of a Valentine's Day themed litter pickup. We want people to wear pink or red for a little photo op. We're going to have another collaborative pickup day with Green Earth that will be on our calendar in March. And then we have our biannual tree sale. We're going to have that this spring, April 2nd. So all of your native trees, shrubs, plants, that kind of thing that goes towards our fundraiser and keeps us moving along. Some major projects that we have coming up are pollinator plantings around town. We are collaborating with Green Earth and the city and some private entities to put in more pollinator spaces. A big project that we had was planting trees at where the old Econo Lodge was. It's like kind of a flooded out area that's not commercially viable for building anything else. So we're trying to identify and beautify little spaces around town, keep our Adopt a Spot program going, and do litter pickups and listen to the community of what they want environmentally. So yeah. Thank you all again for being here. So I'm going to just hand off the time. Thank you.
All right. And thank you for keeping us beautiful.
Oh.
All right. With the Land of Lincoln coming up, am I correct on that? I'm seeing something different here.
I don't think anyone is here for Land of Lincoln. So our next person will be for Library for Alternate Futures.
Hi.
There you go.
I'm Farrell Lamb. I am establishing an organization with several partners called the Library for Alternate Futures. Our mission is to gather, produce, and share information and materials related to community self-sufficiency and interdependence. The basic idea is that as systems we rely on break down, local communities everywhere need to build local supply chains to meet local needs for food, water, energy, shelter, medicine, clothing, education, and other necessities. This library aims to be a resource for nurturing local resilience and a repository of institutional knowledge, which will be accessible to the public. Practically, we want to help people build new and existing gardens, local businesses, renewable energy capacity, and more. We'll have lending libraries for both books and tools and materials, offer meeting space and gathering space to the community, organize skill sharing courses and assist in publishing related educational materials, and work with other groups to produce seasonal swap meets for non-commercial exchange of goods, services, and information. We'd love for these swap meets to develop into larger cultural events with art, music, fashion shows, and other performances. Right now, because of the climate catastrophe, we're at the beginning of the largest migration in human history. Our region is pretty well insulated from the worst changes, and we have a tremendous amount of knowledge in the community about how to use our natural resources. But at the same time, we have a declining population and economy. And since nature abhors a vacuum, this should be the time for Carbondale and Southern Illinois to bounce back, but that's not going to happen automatically. We need to make real investments in the resilience that already exists here, so we don't have to start from square one. We'll be holding a foundational meeting in March where we will finalize our bylaws and a democratic governance structure, which rewards volunteer work throughout the community. I'd like to invite anyone interested in that or in participating in other ways to contact me for more details, including about becoming a member of the library. And I'd like to thank everyone for welcoming me. It's really great to be in Carbondale. Thank you.
Wow, and that's great to hear. Welcome to Carbondale. Coming up next, We have the president of the Carbondale chapter of the National Association for Colored People. Dr. Flowers, how are you today?
Fine. Good morning, everyone. The mission of the NAACP is to secure the political, educational, social, and economic equality of rights in order to eliminate race-based discrimination and ensure the health and well-being of all persons. In addition to our regular committee work, for the past year and some months, the Carbondale branch has been working with the Illinois Public Health Association and local health departments to provide food, medicine, sanitation, income, transportation, utilities, rent, and other support and resources to community members impacted by COVID. Then to educate and encourage all people to exercise their right to vote, we're hosting a series of community Zoom conversations the third Tuesday of each month through the November 2022 election. The first discussion is scheduled for Tuesday, February 15th, 6:00 p.m. through the Carbondale Library's Zoom room with Dr. John Jackson of the SIU Public Policy Institute, providing us information on the 2020 election, who voted where, as well as how the 2020 census redistricting may impact upcoming elections. We invite all of you for Black History Month to register a team for our annual Black History Scholar Bowl. This year, we are focusing exclusively on the Black history of Southern Illinois. The event will be February 28th in the ballrooms of Southern Illinois University. Then lastly, we have a team of deputy registrars who are available to register voters at your community events, as long as there's no politicking or alcohol involved. If you want to join us, we have our general membership meetings the fourth Tuesday of every month, and I will put contact information in the chat. Thank you.
Okay, and thank you, Dr. Flowers. Okay, Randy, you're a pretty good old guy to have around. With the Carbondale Police Department, Randy Mathis.
Hi, thank you for having me here. Randy Mathis with the Carbondale Police Department. I'm one of the 2 community resource officers at the department. Today, we're going to just give you a little bit more information about Neighborhood Watch and to let people know that we are a resource for anyone who wants to organize their neighborhood for Neighborhood Watch. Now, Neighborhood Watch is neighbors getting together and getting to know each other. Because if you don't know your neighbors, how are you going to know what suspicious activity is? And also, if you know your neighbors, you have a stake with them, and you're going to be more encouraged to want to call the police when you do see something suspicious. At the police department, we want everybody, if there's something suspicious and you think something needs to be looked at from a police department perspective, we encourage everybody to call. There are many times we do receive calls that it turns out everything's okay, and that's fine. We appreciate that, and we still want to check that and make sure everything's okay. But we don't want to have happen is for neighbors to see something and not be sure or on the fence on whether they should call the police department or not, and not call us and have it be something that is a police department need. The second thing I want to let people know about is Ring has a neighbors program that allows neighbors to get together online to share video and information. That information can also be shared directly with the police department. It's not a system where the police department can look in on your Ring camera systems, but anybody with a system is eligible to visit Ring Neighbors, download a free app, and then get to know a little bit more about what's going on with your neighborhood. The police department can utilize this by sending out alerts saying that we've had this incident happen in this area and that we are asking for anybody with any Ring or any other surveillance cameras to send us video if they choose. It's a purely up to you whether you want to use it or not. We cannot reach out to individuals, but it's something that we can reach out to the community and ask for you to share that video with us. And if you need more information on either of those programs, please contact me at the police department, 618-457-3200, extension 402, or rmathis@explorecarbondale.org. Thank you.
Okay, Randy, I can't let you get by with this here. Now, when my time runs out on the meter, you get a ticket. So I owe you one.
All right. Fair enough.
Or you owe me a payoff. Let's talk about it later.
All right.
Dr. Weaver, it's good to see you. I'm seeing a lot of people I don't get to see since we've been locked down and whatnot. And who is that? Okay, representing the race unity group of Carbondale, Dr. Mickey Weaver.
Hi, Sri. How you doing?
Okay.
Yeah, we got together about 5-6 years ago for the mission of increasing and developing relationships across racial groups. And because we now have members more than just in Carbondale, we have members all over. One in Arizona, by the way, which is known now as the Race Unity Group, or instead of just Carbondale. It all started with a young man named Brian Grams. He developed a film called Racial Taboo, and he would show this film, and then they would have breakout sessions. Brian realized he didn't have any Black friends, and so we showed the Racial Taboo at the Varsity Theater. I think around probably 2014, 15, had breakout sessions, and then we ended up meeting weekly at the Denman Center to see if we could begin to develop friendships. Before the pandemic, we know one way to develop friendship is through eating. So the fifth Monday of every month that had a fifth Monday, we would meet at the mosque, Carbondale Mosque, and have a potluck. We would also attend movies together. We would also watch documentaries and had an educational component to our group where we would have people come in and provide us with lectures. This year, what we've done, and this is the second year, to Walter Green, he's one of the coordinators, or is the coordinator for this group, we're hosting our second annual reading of Black authors. So if anybody who wants to read from a book or a segment of a Black author, they can come to our Zoom meeting, get in contact with Walter Green or Karen Note. She's at the pastor at the First Christian Church, and get on the list to read your favorite author. Okay, we also try to keep abreast of what's going on in our community, issues that could affect all of us. For example, the ratio of hiring Black teachers to the number of Black students at the Carbondale High School and middle school, or the ratio of suspensions.
Mickey, you need to look at your time now.
Oh, am I off? Oh, okay.
Look at your time.
Okay. Okay. We meet every Monday.
Swing low, sweet cherry.
We meet every Monday of the month, and we invite people to join us, and I'll put our contact information in the chat. Thank you.
Okay, I'm having a whole bunch of fun, y'all. Good to see you with us today, Kathy. Representing the Racial Justice Coalition. There you go.
Yeah, isn't it wonderful how many groups we have here in Carbondale? It's just amazing. I come to this thing and I hear what everybody's been up to, and it really speaks well for Carbondale. The easiest way for me to introduce Racial Justice Coalition to those who aren't familiar with it is to say how we're different from the other groups. Now understand, there's a lot of crossover. A lot of our membership belongs to many other groups, myself included. We support diversity, inclusion, and equity just across the board in Carbondale. We've been meeting monthly since 2013. Since the pandemic, of course, we've been meeting virtually. We're looking forward to meeting in person again, once again, at Church of the Good Shepherd. But here's what's different. Our focus is on the systemic ways that disproportionately affect African Americans. And you've heard of systemic racism, right? You've heard the term before. This is what it boils down to. Our focus is on laws, ordinances, policies, procedures that are on the books and that disproportionately affect African Americans. Now, systemic racism is different from interpersonal racism because even with the best of intentions, policies and procedures affect people of color. And that's our focus. And I'm going to put up the information. You can join us, contact us. We'd be glad to talk to you more about it. Thank you.
Okay, we're keeping good time and we're moving right on along. Sonia Kruger, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Sonia Kruger, and I'm serving as the project director for the Southern Illinois Cooperative Business Fund. For those curious, a worker-owned cooperative is an employee-owned business, and it's our mission to provide support for worker-owned cooperative development in Southern Illinois. So that's looked like creating and providing educational, financial, and relevant technical assistance in the process. Over the years, our knowledge has grown in economic development, cooperative philosophy, democratic governance, and solidarity economics. And long before the spring of 2019, we watched our community members begin to carve out a new form of life in our town and our region. The cooperative movement here was born out of the people's movement known as Carbondale Spring. And as a community, we have faced many obstacles, endured much, and we see ourselves on the other side building new relationships and also celebrating a few successes along the way. Throughout 2021, our team was guided by national cooperative experts like Esther West and Stephen McDowell, who helped us create some foundational cooperative education opportunities and community discussions here locally. In 2022, we will partner with non-extractive lending organizations as needed. And along the way, we're going to be training the trainers and continue to lead and assist ourselves as we grow together. We're always seeking to introduce the worker-owned cooperative model to small business owners and link them with those technical services that will be required if they want to transition to employee ownership. The SICBF team will continue to provide the resources for individuals, teams, organizers, and others to chart their course towards worker ownership. We want to help coordinate funding, facilitate discussions, and assist new client cooperatives who are going to be served by this greater cooperative network. You can find us online at workerownedbusiness.com. And we also meet and network weekly, online, virtually, just to stay safe. And anybody who would like to join us, please reach out. We would love to hear what you're up to. Thank you very much, guys.
Okay, and thank you for being with us. All right, we have here Angie Bailey with the Southern Illinois Hospital Community Health and Needs Assessment.
Yeah, so hi. So great to see everyone and hear about all the great work everyone is doing. So I'm Angie Bailey. I'm the System Director for Community Health in our Community Benefits Department at SIH, or Southern Illinois Healthcare. So Sarah had asked me to talk a little bit about the Community Health Needs Assessment. So every 3 years, as a nonprofit hospital system, every hospital in the U.S. is required to complete a community health needs assessment. So we started that process this past August, looking at data and how we compare with lots of data metrics compared to Illinois in the U.S. in our 11 county service area. So that new report will come out the end of March, kind of outlining our priority health issues as well as strategies we are going to put resources to over the next 3 years. But our priority health issues that have been established, they still have to go before our board for this new round, but our social determinants of health, behavioral health, including substance misuse and mental health, and also chronic disease. So much of what we've talked about all flows into these needs. I want to also mention the coalitions. So within SIH and within the communities and working with the health departments throughout the region, we have a Healthy Southern Illinois Delta Network. And in Jackson County, the coalition is the Jackson County Healthy Communities Coalition. So that is, the group meets every other month at a Thursday at 8:30 And we're always looking for new members who are interested in improving health of the region, and specifically Jackson County. If you're interested in that, you can visit the HSIDN website. So that's for Healthy Southern Illinois Delta Network at hsidn.org, to learn more and be a part of that coalition. So I didn't check my time. Did I fit it all in?
Yeah, you got there. You pulled into the station right on time.
Okay, great. And I did put everything in the chat. So thanks again for having me, and please reach out anytime or to get involved. Thanks.
Okay. Well, Carmelita, I have you wearing two hats today. You're going to be starting out with the Sparrow Coalition.
Yes, I'm Carmelita Cahill. I'm a Sparrow Coalition board member today. We're happy to be here. I'd like to start with the Sparrow Coalition meets every month on the first Tuesday at 9 o'clock. Right now on Zoom, but when we go back to in person, it'll be at First Christian Church. We are a collective group of people with a lot of information about what goes on in the community. I know our most recent meeting this past Tuesday was highly informative, of a lot of information, kind of like this, but once a month, but not with as many people. But we look at targeting things that are affecting those who are experiencing unhoused, an unhoused environment right now. So of course I have a special interest in that. But we look at those things. We work together with the Coalition for the Homeless, also Angie Bailey at SIH, a lot of different groups, Centerstone, CPD, to kind of work together to create a collective environment where we can assist people. One of our big projects right now is our Shelter to Home program, which is housed at the Warming Center on the 3rd floor. And what that is, that's through our faith communities in the community and other community members that donate items to people, for people that are moving from an unhoused environment into their own home. Many times we see them come in with a backpack, and then you move into an apartment and it seems like you'll never get it filled with the stuff that you need after you've moved in, because it takes a lot of money to do that. So throughout the Interfaith Council, we have various faith communities that have a small chunk of a section of a room of things that are needed. And we get that stuff put together and get that out to anybody leaving a shelter in the Southern Illinois area. If you're aware of somebody who's needing assistance like that, let us know at the Sparrow Coalition on our Facebook page or on our email, or give First Christian a call. We'll be happy to help you out, or you can call the Warming Center for that. Thank you.
Okay, I see that public relations training coming in with your journalism. Now change your hat or your glasses and tell us about the Warming Center.
New person, but no. So I'm also Carmelita Cahill, the executive director of the Carbondale Warming Center. As many people know, we started out as an overnight shelter during the winter months from 8 p.m. to 8 a.m. In light of the global pandemic and for the health and safety of the guests that we serve, we went to 24 hours in March of 2020. Since that time, we've been 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and have not shut our doors. And much of that is in regards to the community that we reside in. There are people on this call who I may not have known their faces before now, and now I see their faces and I see a check or a donation or things like that coming in all the time. The Warming Center exists because of the community of Carbondale and its support. And that is an amazing, amazing thing. When we became a 24-hour shelter, we kind of lost that ability to take in the overnight guest and the guests that needed some place for a night or two, or didn't want to be bothered with people getting in their business or, social services. They just want to come in and be warm and sleep. And that's definitely, affordable to them as human beings in the world. So in November of this past year, what we had upstairs was a part of the floor for what we called the safe place, for anybody who was unhoused or didn't have anywhere to go to wait out COVID testing, to go through a quarantine, anything like that. We transferred that same space in November to what we call now the upstairs program, which is more or less a warming center. That opens at 6 p.m. each evening. and closes at 8 a.m. Now, of course, this past week, we've kept those folks in. It's a little too cold to be sending people out at 8 in the morning, and still running the downstairs shelter, which puts us in up to 50 or more per night. We could actually hold about 80. So we're moving ahead. Thank you.
Okay, and I truly thank you for what you do. All righty here. This is Carbondale, the Sustainability Commission, Saxon Metzger.
Hi, everyone. I'm Saxon. My name is Saxon Metzger. I'm with the Sustainability Commission here in town and a new project developer for Straight Up Solar. I'm here representing the Sustainability Commission. We're an advisory board with the city that advises around environmental and economic sustainability and resilience for the city of Carbondale. There's about 7 members or so on the board, including Orr Beck, Sarah Heyer, I believe are both on this call, as well as several other people. And what we try and do is keep Carbondale in the loop and active in terms of staying up and on top of a changing world, a changing environment. Some of the things that we're doing right now, most specifically, are creating a sustainability plan for our region, which would be a regional first for a city of our size. And so that plan covers everything from transportation and energy to racial and inclusion, social justice, and air quality. It's something that we feel like is necessary to make our city and our region safer, more resilient, more sustainable in the face of ongoing changes and issues. It's something that the city has been very supportive of our work and our efforts, and we're very happy about that. So we're currently in the drafting stage of that. The city has sponsored us to have an ICLEI membership, which is an international group that focuses on helping establish climate emission baselines for a city to determine how successful it has been. And so it's one of those things that we really appreciate any input and feedback as we're going through the drafting phase. We're hoping to have something soon in the next couple of months, at least announced, if not ready to go. And I'm going to put the link to our website with our contact information in the chat here. We have monthly meetings, not only for our regular commission that are open to the public, but also our subcommittee, which is more of an active kind of drafting working group. And so we're hoping that everyone can provide some input, suggestions, commentary, and we look forward to just helping make sure that Carbondale is a resilient community moving forward.
All right, thank you much. Now, I understand that the Women's Center has a new name. And we have here to tell us more about that, Kathy McLanahan. But okay. I'm looking at Nancy. Are you representing the Women's Center?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
I wear many hats.
Okay.
I'm the community outreach manager at the Women's Center. We will be celebrating our 50th year in business this year. And with that celebration comes a name change that's more inclusive. Our new name is the Survivor Empowerment Center, so formerly known as the Women's Center. As you know, our mission is to end domestic violence and sexual assault in Southern Illinois, to assist survivors of these crimes and their non-offending significant others. We support survivors of violence and we promote a safer community. We have domestic violence shelter program and services. We offer safe shelter, legal advocacy, adult and child and individual counseling, case management services, transitional housing, group support, emergency and food supplies, referral services, transportation, activities for women and children, and public education training on a variety of topics related to domestic violence. We also have a rape crisis service which assists adult and child survivors of sexual assault and sexual abuse. We provide a 24-hour crisis intervention hotline, and we support survivors that are at the hospital emergency room and police departments. We also offer public education and professional training and prevention programs in that area as well. We also look for volunteers. the Women's Center cannot function without volunteers. I put the number in the chat where you can contact if you're interested in volunteers. And we have community programs, institutional advocacy on behalf of all survivors support group, clothing pantry, emergency and food supplies, pro se, diverse referral, public education, prevention programs, and professional training. We have a 24-hour crisis hotline, 1-800-334-2094, and it will be in the chat. Thank you very much.
Nancy, when do you have time to go to school?
The school? I don't go to school.
Okay. You can't be with all the stuff you're doing. Thank you for your service.
Thank you.
All right now. Women for Change. Now I'm not looking at Ginger here. Who am I looking at? It says Kate.
Yes, this is Kate Heiss. I'm giving the first half, which is about the Women for Change Miller Tisdale Free Sewing Room, as well as the Red End Garden. We maintain a free sewing room. It is located at the Irma Hay Center. We hope to be open again soon. We had to shut down in October a year ago for COVID. We teach sewing, and we will be adding private sewing lessons this year to our group sessions. This year, we will be adding classes also in drapery, slipcovers, and reupholstery, which will include simple accounting methods for starter businesses. The use of the workroom is free also to nonprofits by appointment. So if you have a church or an organization that wants to do some sewing, you can come use our space. Our free garden, the Red Hen Garden, is located at 590 East Larch Street. We have started sowing seeds indoors for our spring planting and our annual garden gala in early May. We gave away about 1,000 plants last year and free grilled vegetables to attendees. We joined with the Neighborhood Planting Project and Carbondale Food Autonomy last year to double the size of our event and gave away about 1,000 trees because we are all better together. Now, if you would switch to Ginger, you'll find Deb Woods, who will speak more about the organization.
Okay, Deb, let's hear it.
Hello, everyone. One of the things that Women for Change is about is educating the community. And we've done that through forums for judges who were running for office, city council who were running for office, and housing for people who were removed from homes in Cairo, Illinois. We're about clean and beautifying the neighborhoods, which is the garden gala that Kate mentioned, as well as coordinating city resources to people so that they know what's available. We're also about feeding the community. We're feeding the children, we're delivering meals, and all of that is in support of no one going hungry. We also support entrepreneurism through our bazaars or our pop-up sales. And we have a program for children to learn to be entrepreneurs through our MORE program where we allow children to take lawnmowers out and do yards. So you can contact us if you would like your yard done. We're very happy that the community has always supported us. The community is how we do what we do and have been able to do it through the generous donations of the public. We are better together, and that's how we do what we do. Thank you.
Okay, and thank you. I'd like to add with that, I've had those guys come and do my lawn work, and I'm telling you, they're very efficient, and I've paid a whole lot more than they charge to do their work.
Thank you.
All right, thank you for that. Now we have here Judy Ashby. You're wearing two hats with us today. I think you're starting out with the Buckminster Fuller home.
Yes, sir. Teacher.
And I didn't see the clock, so I had.
Can you hear me now?
Well, I can. Yes.
Oh, good. Okay. Thank you, Kareem. I was beginning to worry, being stuck down here at the end of the trail, that I wondered if anybody was going to still be around to hear my spiel, but I would like to talk about Bucky Fuller. If you don't know about Buckminster Fuller and the geodesic dome at the corner of Cherry and Forest here in Carbondale, I'll be happy to tell you. Bucky Fuller held a position at the Southern Illinois University Design Department back in 1960-71. During that time, he and his wife Ann built, owned, and lived in that dome on Cherry and Forest. And for the past 20 years, a dedicated group of Buckeyphiles have worked to restore the dome, to preserve it in its original form, and to develop the Fuller Dome Home Museum. Now in 2022 and 98% complete, the museum, we feel, needs its own visitor center, which we hope to have fully operational by the next solar eclipse here in April 2024. These efforts will make available a variety of educational opportunities for all ages, guided tours of the museum, annual World Games, conferences, and programs that will share and spread Bucky's philosophy and vision of, quote, to make the world work for 100% of humanity in the shortest possible time through spontaneous cooperation without ecological offense or the disadvantage of anyone, close quotes. I believe this continuing development in the middle of Carbondale will greatly improve the immediate neighborhood, enhance the value of Carmendale and the university, and enhance Southern Illinois, and quite possibly help change Illinois from a flyover state to a real destination point. So please check out our website. It's just fullerdomehome.com. And I'll be happy to give you a personal tour most anytime. Thank you.
Hey, Judy.
Yes, sir.
I want to assure you that you're not the last one on the program today. We've yet to hear from our city manager, and we all want to hear what he has to say about home rule. So
Okay,
if you now put on,
I've got the one about Arbor District.
there you go. Here you go. You got your other hat on now?
I did. It's right there.
Okay. There you go.
Okay. The Arbor District is a 380 parcel neighborhood located basically in the middle of Carbondale and loosely bounded by Maine on the north, Mill on the south, Poplar on the east, and Oakland on the west. We try to nurture a sense of neighborliness and to maintain a perspective of safety, friendship, and sharing fun. As a neighborhood association, we hold twice yearly street cleanup events where folks actually walk designated streets, picking up trash, which is then recycled with the city. Twice a year, we host a membership meeting / picnic to help newcomers get acquainted, greet long-timers, and plan any activities or actions. On most of the streets, folks know each other well enough to borrow a cup of sugar and watch each other's house. The Arbor District hosts some notable buildings too. The oldest house in town on Walnut, the Fuller Dome Home Museum on Cherry and Forest, the nationally known Lost Cross House, which is the premier location for up and coming punk rock musicians, several churches, and at least 3 Airbnbs. The Arbor District is an advantageous location. Walking distance, groceries, the library, the university, the strip, PK's, the hospital, Turley Park, and more. Sanctioned block parties have been welcome, most notably a 1996 wedding that closed Elm Street and the 2021 Lost Cross anniversary that also closed Elm Street. The Arbor District seeks to encourage and develop more owner-occupied housing, to discourage poorly managed and trashy properties, of which there are plenty, squatters on Forest, raucous parties with gunshots on Cherry, speedsters on Walnut, and thefts out of people's garages. And we need your help to improve our Carbondale to be what it deserves to be. So come on to Arbor District and visit anytime. Thank you. Thank you, Corinne.
Yes, ma'am, and thank you. We're moving on to the second phase and the final phase of our meeting today. I won't do any preliminaries. Gary, it's in your hands.
Thanks, Kareem. I'm going to do everything I can to get you back on schedule. Okay, so home rule. Everybody has been asked about home rule, and you guys may know that as a result of the 2020 census, our population has fallen below 25,001. It's currently at 21,857. And because of that, we're at risk of losing home rule, and we're going to be required on November 8th this year in our general election to place a referendum on the ballot. And the voters will have to decide whether they want to retain it or not. Real quickly, before I get into details and pros and cons, advantages of home rule, you need to know that this is a political issue. And although we're pleased to provide this information as a public service, to promote community awareness about home rule and its role in government. The views expressed here may not be the views of any local government body or any local elected officials. So what is home rule? Home rule is a power given to municipalities that for them to be able to solve city issues locally. Home rule authority permits municipalities to address local issues in a manner deemed best for the community, with some limitations from the state constitution and state legislature. Without home rule status, municipalities can only exercise powers granted to them by the state. In our area, there are numerous home rule communities, and they include Murfreesboro, Marion, DuQuoin, Johnson City, West Frankfort, Benton, Mount Vernon, Carterville, Heron, Sparta. And something I like to mention is that the tiny village of Muddy, which is just outside of Harrisburg, if you're familiar with it, was actually the first Illinois municipality to adopt home rule via a referendum. So what are some of the advantages of home rule? The first one is it gives us broad taxing powers, which many will likely tell you that's a disadvantage as well. The city's FY22 budget projects about $8.3 million in home rule sales tax, and that's about 33% of our total revenues. So that's our current budget year. In contrast, the city's real estate tax levy was $1,035,289, which is about 4% of our revenues. The city has traditionally maintained a low property tax levy to rely on sales taxes to fund operations. And the reason being that dollars spent by non-residents shift the tax burden away from residents and reliance on real estate taxes. And just to help you put that in a little better context, if you are in a $100,000 home in Carbondale right now, the city's real estate levy is only about 3% of your real estate bill. So in a $100,000 home, you spend about $90 a year for city services, which, Kareem, I would tell you that's about the best deal you're going to find in Carbondale. In terms of the sales taxes and spreading those taxes around, our economic development staff did some data mining this week, and some really interesting numbers. We have access to a new economic development program that tracks sales based on zip code. This may not surprise you. In downtown, and these are all for 62901 area code, I'm sorry, zip code residents. In downtown, a little over 50% of our sales come from Carbonyl residents. In Murdale, it's just under 50%. University Place, which is where Best Buy and Dick's and all those are, just under 18% Carbondale residents. So a big chunk of that comes from people outside of Carbondale. University Mall, same, just under 14% of total sales. So that shows how many people are attracted to Carbondale to spend dollars here. Another potential advantage is that home rule communities generally have higher bond ratings. This results in lower costs to the city when we do issue debt. If I don't know how familiar you are with bonds, but when the city needs money to do usually capital projects, they issue debt. Home rule communities with having a higher bond rating, they get a lower interest rate, which saves taxpayers money. One other thing that in regards to bonding is home rule communities have no debt limit. Non-home rule, it's capped at 8.62% of total EAV of the community, the equalized assessed value of the property. Our debt ratio currently is about 9.6%. So in the event if we lose home rule and additional debt is needed, the city will not be able to issue it. One advantage too that touches most of you every day would be licenses and regulations. And again, that can be deemed a disadvantage as well. Some of the licenses, the mayor had mentioned earlier about a conversation about rental licensing. The city would not be able to have that power if they lose home rule. Vacation rental units was mentioned. Those would no longer be allowed to be licensed. Animal control, we wouldn't be able to license those. We get a lot of calls, you can probably imagine, for animals in the city. The list goes on and on and on of things we would not be able to do to establish regulations in the city of Carbondale. And again, the main disadvantage is really the counter argument to basically everything I just said, which is a broad taxing and regulation authority. So if the real question is, if you're a resident and you believe that a municipality should have more power to create local laws and address issues locally, you would probably be more inclined to vote for home rule. If you don't think that, if you think the state should be establishing laws that affect the community, then you would be non-home rule. So what does the election in November, what does the referendum question say? This is a statutory mandate. The question you're going to see on the ballot if you vote, and I hope you vote on November 8th, is shall the city of Carbondale cease to be a home rule unit? And you'll be asked yes or no. So what's it mean if you vote yes on a home rule on this question? Vote yes means that you want the city of Carbondale to lose home rule. And if you vote no, that means you want the city to retain its home rule status. One question that we get a lot about home rule is, does home rule authority mean higher property taxes? You know, the example I just gave a few minutes ago about Carbondale's real estate tax levy, that's unique to Carbondale. That's not always the case, but there have been numerous studies by academics, Northern Illinois University Center for Governmental Studies. If you had interest in this and went there, there are retired faculty, former faculty that have studied this extensively. And the facts is that that's just not true. Studies have shown that in states that grant more municipal discretion, they impose lower property taxes and less total taxes. Currently, again, Carbondale's tax rate is, our city portion is about 3% of your total tax bill. And we've maintained that levy since around 2000. Do home rule power municipalities have unlimited powers? No, they're not unlimited. For example, even though there is some additional taxing authority, home rule units can't levy income tax locally. Regulations must relate to the local government affairs, and home rule communities cannot regulate on issues already exclusive to state government. Home rule does provide flexibility to communities to enact laws that best serve their local interests. For example, non-home rule communities can only hire public safety personnel through an independent board of fire and police commissioners, which we have locally. However, as a home rule community, we're empowered to make more decisions on who exactly is hired. The administration here can hire and fire police chiefs, fire chief, those types of things. Where a non-home rule, those decisions are left to the board of fire and police commissioners. You may recall, if you've been in Carbondale for a while, many years ago, the city decided to increase the size of the council from 5 to 7 members. That was a power exclusive to home rule communities. And one request that we get a lot is to reduce speed in Carbondale. And over the years, the city has lowered the residential speed limits in some neighborhoods to 25. It's currently on Glenview Drive. It's that way. There are other streets in town. If we were a non-home rule community, we would not have that power. We would have to, all the residential streets would be at the statutory minimum, which would be 30. How does home rule affect local funding for school? It has absolutely no effect on schools, since the Carbondale school districts are independent taxing bodies. They fund everything through property tax. But again, if you've been in Carbondale for a while, an advantage of home rule is, if you'll recall, back in 1999, the city and the Carbondale High School entered into an agreement to provide $16 million in additional funding, so the high school could proceed with building a new high school. And that allowed them to not get all that money from real estate. So what the city did is levied a 0.25% sales tax to provide that additional funding. And then how do residents oversee the use of home rule? Really, it's the democratic process. If residents participate in city council meetings, if residents run for council, it's really the council has a much more authority in a home rule unit of government. So if residents aren't happy with the way things go, and they have to get more involved with the process. So that's really all I have, Kareem, on specific facts. You can really deep dive into home rule if you're really, really interested. The Illinois Municipal League has a tremendous amount of information on it. And again, the powers go way beyond what I just mentioned. I just wanted to bring some of the highlights that are usually the ones that are focused on when referendums come about, or if you're required to ask residents to retain home rule status. So again, on November 8th, you're going to be asked to vote. Shall the city cease to be a home rule unit? If you don't want to be home rule, you should vote yes. And if you do want us to retain home rule, you should vote no. And I'm happy to answer any questions, Kareem.
Well, I mean, the one thing that I really wanted to emphasize was how to vote and knowing what you're voting for. And so, for instance, again, you just ended with it. And I had the question while you were speaking, but we want everybody to be clear. If you want home rule, you vote no.
Correct.
Okay. There you go.
Couple questions in the chat box. One is, how would the city deal with losing 1/3 of its revenue if the city loses home rule? And would property taxes increase?
That's a great question. And frankly, we hate to think about this, Sarah, but the reality is if Carbonyl residents, if the community is satisfied and expects the level of service you're currently getting from police and fire, from building neighborhood service, from everything citywide, we absolutely cannot cut our budget by $8 million and retain those services. So it would be wildly different in terms of what we build provide for services. So with the election being on November 8th, if the city were to lose its home rule status, we have a little bit of time before that actually goes into effect. In December, the city council does a real estate tax levy. So that would be the last chance to make any changes to the real estate tax levy. And so again, we levy about $1 million a year. If we lose home rule and $8 million of taxes, that would require a massive real estate increase, which we could still do as a home rule community. So when I mentioned earlier that if you have a $100,000 home and you're paying about $90 a year now, that could easily go up 6 or 7 times if we want to maintain the same level of service.
We have another question. Can Carbondale call into question the final results of the U.S. Census? As a census supervisor, the method of closing out the census should be called into question. And that question is from Mickey Weaver.
Yes, and we've been keeping a close eye on this. There's one lawsuit that's been filed by a number of college towns, and they're really the main state institutions like Athens, Georgia is on it, and State College, Pennsylvania is on it, and others that are challenging it because, as you know, the count day was April of 20, and most universities were closed, including Carbondale, and all the residents were gone. So we still have some time to be able to challenge that. The real issue, though, is our population went from 25.9 to 21.8. So the question is, will a challenge, or if the city wanted to do a special census, can we find the 3,200 residents that we need? We're not real confident that it's that big of an error. We think there's an error. We just don't think it's that much of an error.
Would TIF districts, TIF programs be impacted by possible home rule changes?
We've been looking into this, and no, I don't think that our existing TIFs will be impacted, but that's something that we need to do a little more research
on. Would it affect any of the zoning rules, zoning districts and all that?
No, it won't affect that, but again, to one of the things of being a home rule community are the additional powers of a home rule community. So for example, we have broader authority right now with regulations in terms of signage is one. For example, like outdoor advertising signs. You'll notice when you come into Carbondale that we don't have lots of billboards. That's been a standard set by the city council for many, many years. If you're non-home rule and you're a vendor that complies with the Interstate Act, and where you can place those signs, you can place those signs. We as a local home rule community can regulate against outdoor advertising. So that's one example. So there's just very specific examples about strengthening regulations in the zoning code that go above and beyond what's in the state. But in terms of just zoning, no, we would still be able to have our zoning districts.
Thank you. Jane Adams has asked, if voters turn down home rule in November election, can they change their minds 2 years later?
Yes.
So it's whenever we have an election, that's when you can bring it up again?
Yes.
Thank you. Are there any other questions? Please use the chat function. And if you don't know where that is, hover at the bottom of your screen and it should come up. Any other questions for Mr. Williams?
Diana, were there hands raised that you want to identify?
I think they asked their questions in the chat. So if you still have a question, either put it in the chat or raise your hand. We kind of cleared it all out.
Hey, and to everybody that participated today, I have to say thanks to all you guys. It's like I'm always reminded how many groups there are in Carbondale, how much work is being done, and we certainly really appreciate it here.
Any other questions? We know we're at it's noon, and we usually try to keep this to 2 hours, and we usually serve a meal, but we haven't been able to do it for the last 2 years. Hopefully next year.
Well, I had here in my notes to have some virtual soup. So we can have some virtual soup and some rubber chicken next year, huh?
Oh, one other question popped up. Is there any chance that the city will enact landlord licensures?
Yeah, I think it's a possibility. It's been discussed briefly at previous council meetings, but we just haven't moved forward with it. It was presented a few years ago in 2017. I presented as an idea, and there just wasn't enough support for it. What I would say though is the mayor touched on some things earlier. We have a registration program that really functions very much like a licensing program, because we have mandated inspections at least once every 3 years when properties turn over and in different scenarios. But there are a number of things that we're proposing that we've been talking about internally here for a while, and the council is going to kind of consider them on Tuesday. And if there are certain proposals that they want us to bring more detail back, we will. And some of those, as the mayor had said, were to have a lease addendum that deals with problem tenants that are doing criminal activity on the property, allowing us to put water holes on property. One of the advantages that I've always thought of having rental licensing is that when units are vacant, particularly in the summer, when we do our inspections, if units aren't to our standard, it would be really nice to have additional tools to preclude landlords from letting tenants occupy it. The units, often what happens is we may have outstanding issues, and then tenants get in, and then it's just, frankly, it's pulling teeth to get things done. So we need more tools to be able to make sure the standards are being met. Vacant building ordinance, as the mayor mentioned. A community housing trust has been talked about a while. That can, we think, improve housing. We think the TIF district is going to improve housing. We like the idea we've been talking about for many years about when this gets done, we need to have a redevelopment agency that can buy and sell property and do those types of things. So I think there's a lot of things we're doing now that can help improve the housing quality. But yes, licensing is certainly one of those tools.
Sarah, could you ask the next few questions that have appeared in the chat?
Well, a few years ago, it was proposed to sell the rights of Carbonyl water supply. Home rule would not affect that, would it? Whether we have the right to retain this power to control our water supply?
Home rule gives a broader authority to do intergovernmental agreements and those types of things, but in terms of selling a water asset, I don't think that would have any effect on that. I would tell you from our current perspective and from the current council is there's absolutely no thought of selling the water asset to a private utility. There just isn't.
That's great.
And the other part too is it's just the water and sewer fund is a separate enterprise fund that doesn't commingle with the general fund where your real estate sales taxes predominantly go. And that's a money-making fund. So I don't know why we would sell the water. It just, it doesn't make any sense.
Licensing landlords, would that apply to any individual who rents out one room, or would it be for multiple property owners? So we've got landlords with multiple properties.
Well, you can do it 2 different ways. A lot of the rental licensing programs that we see in Illinois is there's a fee based on how many units. So if it's like 1 to 20 or 1 to 10, X number, above 50, X number. So it's one license. We've talked about it internally. We see more problems with that. I think that if we did a licensing here, what we would propose is really just having our registration program as it exists converted to licensing. So if you were a landlord with 500 units, you would have 500 licenses. Every unit would have its own license that could be pulled.
Okay. And I don't see any other questions. So I think, Kareem, you want to wrap us up?
This stage, it looks like this train is about to move into the station, pull into the station. I want to thank everyone again for participating. It really amazes me how many big heavy hitters that we have in Carbondale that are like truly active and believe in what they're doing. I just want to sign off and say love, peace, and especially be kind to each other. And as I always end out, just remember, one good turn gets most of the covers. There you go.